packets. Should we keep it here? It's
keep here.
Keep it here. On the floor. We don't have a table right now. But get a table and then put it better, right?
No, we have some tables there.
Yeah, I think we'll pick the table and put it there.
Okay, if the Jordan La and some younger ones, Jordan La and Kid La, okay, some of you can help the table to be moved here, and then all the talk will go on the table.
We just putting the table here, and is this the text for the Guru Puja? It's in here.
We have both. This is for you.
Do you do all the verses, or you will skip? Or just the song section? We should let some.
We will do the verses pretty quickly.
Starting at the beginning.
It's quite long.
Guru Puja is Ramachapa is long, no?
Yes. I think we can say the verses pretty long.
Sorry?
The verses fast.
All of them.
Yeah, we did some of the verses. Pretty fast. And before the sort of thing, I'll explain a little bit.
Yeah.
One part of reading the part No. Yes, and the table. Okay. This is coming together of the friends of Mr. Mithunji and Siringla, Siring Chundala, who passed away 2 years ago, and Mithunji, who passed away quite recently. This is because that we are all connected, karmically connected with him and Siringla. Whatever virtues that we do, no doubt will have a tremendous benefit in paving the way to his next rebirth, and he being a very creative, inquisitive person, and particularly the last 4 years he was drawn towards the wonderful path as taught by the Buddha Shakyamuni, and he was over the years we could see that he learned a lot. This understanding of the path, system of the path became quite refined, and given that this was the situation that he was in, no doubt by our very powerful prayers and taking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow, that which he was also familiar with, taking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow, and again then dedicating the virtues towards his taking birth, which is in favor of him practicing the same path, and Srirangla, no doubt, following the same path, and eventually becoming lights themselves, light of the wisdom, light of compassion themselves, to dispel the darkness of innumerable, in fact infinite, demon sentient beings. So this is about 4 we are doing here, and I know that there are many people who are away from Delhi, and yet who are taking part in this program the way we are doing here. So those who are online and those here who are here, let us first of all go for the visualization of the refuge field, and then the Bodhisattva field, and the purpose of this practice. So the Bodhisattva field, the refuge field, for that matter, visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened beings in front of you. And how you visualize them, that makes the difference. The same thing that we do without knowing how to visualize it, and then you may do it for 100,000 times. By including how to visualize them, then the merit will be multiplied much more as compared to what you otherwise do it without the inclusion of the mode of visualization for like 100,000 times. So the way, the manner in which you visualize them is that they are like your very affectionate parents, and you are the child coming home demoralized, and they are there to give full love, affection, and attention to us. And visualize Mr. Mithun next to you, Sri Chundala next to you, and your 2 parents, and all your family members, and all the sentient beings in this universe, everyone around you. And here you are the mother, and all others are like children, like the mother giving instruction to the children. This is about how we should make the greatest meaning out of life. And imagine that you are saying the same thing to our very dear friend Mithunji and Sri Chundala, and to all your 2 parents and all the demonstration beings. And the purpose of this practice, 1, is to accumulate a collective merit and wisdom, the force of which will drive the Mithunji and Sri Chundala to take a favorable birth, and to all those beings who we know who passed away, they also to take favorable births, the birth of tremendous meaning with the dharma of the bodhicitta, the dharma of the wisdom of emptiness, and eventually able to cleanse one's own mental defilements, and unravel the hidden treasure of ultimate happiness, and being able to lead all of the sentient beings towards ultimate happiness. Okay, with that in mind, let's turn to the prayer book. On page 2 of the blue book, and the brown one on page page 3. Brown one, page 3, and the blue one, page 2. As you recite, visualize that all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're watching us, and Mithunji, late Mithunji, and late Singh Chundala, and all the Amar Sentient beings, they are joining us in this journey. And given that late Mithunji, in most likelihood, his mind will be around us until, say, 49th day. So let us invite him to join us in this, because what we're doing is for him and for the late Singh Chundala. With our mind, let's say this together. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, nor rising, nor annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the Buddhas and of the hearers and Bodhisattvas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking pacification and complete peace, who through the knowledge of past causes those having migrated to achieve the aims of the world, and through possession of omniscience, the subduer set forth their varieties having all aspects. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The teacher, Sugata and protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays. To you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Okay, the next page 7, the efficient bodhicitta. Brown one, what page is that? Okay, this is, it may be slightly different. Okay, how many of the brown one? No, okay. So, but still there's this variation there, not only the page, even the sequence of the stanzas, there's also variation. Okay. I think,
Go brown one, Krishna.
Okay, go for the brown one then. Okay, those with the blue ones, pick up the brown one here. Okay, raise your hands. Those who do not have the brown one. Okay, we're on page 5, the brown one, page 5. Brown one, page 5. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Joda Soge Chonam La Chanju Bardu Dane Gyabsuji Age Jin Soge Be Sonam Ge Dola Benjire Sangye Jubarai Shum Sangye Joda Soge Chonam La Chanju Bardu Dane Gyabsuji Age Jin Soge Be Sonam Ge Dola Benjire Sangye Jubarai Shum Sangye Joda Soge Chonam Da Chanju Bardu Dane Gyabsuji Age Jin Soge Be Sonam Ge Dola Benjire Sangye Jubarai Shum. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I chant the mantra full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As we recite this mantra, just visualize that the meaning of the mantra as Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. All the causes of the miseries, the phenomena of miseries arise from the respective causes. Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavatat. What these causes are is indicated by the Tathagata. Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi. And how to bring an end to these causes is also taught by the saint, the great seer, Mahashramana. Mahashramana is Swaha. So this is how it is established. So knowing this mantra, in other words, to make it simple, that all the phenomena of miseries, they arise from these self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude as their causes. How to bring an end to these two is by cultivating the wisdom of emptiness to counteract the self-grasping ignorance, and the other cherished mind, bodhicitta, to counteract the self-centered attitude. It is through this that the cleansing of the mental defilements will happen, and that the true nature of one's own mind, the ultimate treasure of the happiness, will become manifest. So where each one of us, say the late Mithun Ji, and then the late Siringla, and everyone, the mind is freed of the mental defilements, and then where you're going to take birth, you're going to take birth in a very wholesome state where you'll meet with Dharma, practice Dharma, and eventually follow this path. Gade Gade, Para Gade, Para Samgade, Bodhiswaha. With that mind, wholeheartedly let us see how much we can do the proper visualization as we recite mantra 3 times. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes taught by the Tathagata, the cessation of causes as well as taught by the great seer. Page 6. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light, and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I will tie into the words. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the professional wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times, I pay obeisance. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of all, I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his... It is by the teaching of the truth of suchness that brings... With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the lamp of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to yourself, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. to the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, for destroyer, completely perfected, full of awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugather, over the world, supreme God of human beings, to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the complete and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme science, face like a sparkless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incompatible wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and show the noble path of liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 falls and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness and death. Okay, let us read the Heart Sutra, which is on page 29. Page 29, Heart Sutra. As we recite the Heart Sutra, particularly remember the 3 points. The question asked by Shariputra, then the response given by Avalokiteshvara, and then the benefit of practicing the wisdom of emptiness, as indicated by Avalokiteshvara. The question asked is, how should the child of the lineage, referring to all of us, or anyone who aspires to become a Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings, even though it may be superficial at the moment, it doesn't matter. As long as you have a feeling, you have a feel towards the Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings, we somehow become a part of this child of lineage. And how should we practice the wisdom of emptiness? One. Then the response given was by Avalokiteshvara is that we should be able to see everything like a dream. Just see how much we can wake up from the sleep of ignorance, to see that everything is like a dream. Then number 3 is, what's the benefit if we able to practice to see things as dreamlike? The benefit is that all your miseries, all your nightmare will come to an end the moment you wake up from the sleep of ignorance. Likewise, all the fears of a life, they're like the nightmare in the dream. All the fears will drop the moment we see that things are all empty of objective existence. And the Avalokiteshvara went on by adding to it, saying that this wisdom of reality, this wisdom of emptiness is the gateway through which all the past Buddhas, the present and the future Buddhas, they traverse to the ultimate state of enlightenment. Okay, remembering these 3 points, let us recite the Heart Sutra, while again once more your parents, the late Mithunji, late Chiringla, and everyone, they're happily joining us. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on Master Vulture's mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time the Buddha was absorbed in concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time the Bodhisattva Mahasattva looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom, and behold as 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara: How should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Sharitvati Putra. Shariputra, any daughter of the son of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five activities also as empty inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unsustained as not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element and so on, up to it including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance and so on, up to it including no aging and death and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering or origination, cessation of power, there is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, therefore the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, mantra equal to the unequaled, a mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Yata Om Gade Gade Para Gade Para Sam Gade Bodhi Swaham. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Arose from that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagata rejoice, the Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharitvati Putra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara, who surrounded the entirety along with the world of gods, humans, asuras and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised them, spoken by the Buddha. Okay, as we recite this, the mantra, visualize that Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us thus: don't remain in the fears of samsara. Come to his ultimate happiness. Have no fear. Come to his ultimate happiness. And you hearing this melodious voice of the Buddha Shakyamuni, then you inspire your two parents and all sentient beings, particularly our friend, the late Mithunji, and our friend late Siringla, and all others. Have no fear. Come to his ultimate happiness. And everyone hearing this, they so happily join us. They so happily join us in this journey of Gate Gate for the cleansing of the mind and Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhi Swaha. Okay, and you are leading this, and everyone happily joins you. Yata Om Gate Gate
Bodhi Swaha
Gati Bodhi Swadhyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhi By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may all species and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, 8th verse of my training. It was my training primarily to subdue our self-referential ego and therefore leaving no room for anger. And once the anger subsides, then it leaves room for compassion to grow. So the purpose here is to subdue our self-referential ego and boost our confidence to boost the compassion towards others. With the determination to achieve the highest aim, for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectful for others is superior. In all my deeds may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of claim be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast space that have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds be blinded by ignorance. Okay, the next, the 7th Puja, page 34, the next page. 7th Puja, this is primarily for clearing our mental defilements and the energize us with merit to prepare ourselves to undertake this journey of Gati. And okay, this is what we're doing. We're doing along with all the dear sentient beings. Okay. I bow down to the youthful Adam and Jushri, you lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past and future. In the words of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech and sincere mind, I bow down with the energy of the aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world. To all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom of Buddhas, numbered as atoms, each amidst the host of Bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Siddharthas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense offered to you victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings and spectacular array offered to you victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech and mind, overrun by attachment, anger and confusion, all these are openly laid bare before you. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers, hearers still training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, All you who are my guides, please turn the supreme will of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize Parinirvana. Please place with us for aeons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated, offering and confession, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha's still teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, short mantra offering. Short mantra offering, just imagine that everything good that the universe has. So what is depicted here is the universe according to the classical Indian tradition. Classical Indian tradition, the philosophy about the classical Indian tradition has the belief that the Mount Meru is at the center, and the four continents, the sun and moon. So whether it exists like this or not, it doesn't matter. Just from your side, visualize that everything, everything good the universe has, everything good you have, everything good the universe has. We offer them to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and to prepare ourselves, because this is the best way by which to accumulate the merit. So this, we say this, and then following that we will have the two sets of requests. And finally make an offering of these things. What do you want them to do for you? That your mind is directed towards the practice of Dharma, and that it becomes a very successful practice, so that actually you can undertake this journey, Gati Gati, and eventually towards Bodhiswaha. So this is what we should be visualizing and wholeheartedly feeling. Okay, let's say this. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha filled and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure name. O Sashida that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming frustrated with ignorance that grasps a true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind should overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Edam Guru Ramna Mandala Nirateyame. Okay, now what we do is that we will do the practice which we're not going to do is on page 42. This generating the mind of consummate yoga in Tibetan. Tamje Nenjo Gisem Keba. Tamje Nenjo Gisem. This is a very precious practice. We're not going to go through the book. We're going to do it more orally. Okay. So basically, what we need to have is that to have one's practice complete, it should have a 4+1. 4+1 practices. Form, the samadhi, renunciation, bodhicitta, and wisdom of emptiness. These four things: samadhi, renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness. 4 + 1 is vajrayana. So this, if you have these four things intact, then the fifth will automatically come. Whereas if you don't have these four, even if you jump to the fifth, it will be just pointless. So therefore we don't say 5, we just say 4 plus 1. 1 will come automatically. Okay, with that in mind, first we will do the first part, the shamatha, single point meditation, 5 minutes. Okay, meanwhile, not forgetting to visualize our late friend Mithun ji and our late Siringla. Okay, 5 minutes. And okay, I'm sure that most of us know how to do the meditation, but for a very quick, the introduction, the body posture, 1. Then number 2 is the focal point. Number 3 is the identifying the errors meditation. Number 4 is applying the remedies. Body posture is most important thing is body sit upright, and then you don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes. Your eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down. Tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate. Tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate, and then they breathe normally. Right hand on your left hand, and tips of 2 thumbs joining. Right hand or left hand, tips of 2 thumbs joining, forming triangle. Place 2 hands on your laps in restful state and breathe naturally. So this is your body posture. Then number 2, those of us who are already familiar with your own personal practice meditation, do it that way. Those of us who are beginners, first time exposure to meditation, then visualize a tiny dot, a tiny white dot between nose and the upper lip. This is what you're going to visualize. And meanwhile, count your breath. Breathe in, breathe out, cycle 1. Breathe in, breathe out, cycle 2. This is what I'm going to do for 5 minutes. Okay, point number 3. Identify the errors of meditation. This is so important. Any meditation that you may be doing, whether say the Buddhist meditation, Hindu meditation, or any meditation, whatever, Jain meditation, whatever might be, or secular meditation, any meditation that you might be doing, it must be done with point number 3 and 4 intact. Point number 3 is identifying the errors of meditation. Errors, there are 2. One is mental scattering, known as mental excitement, and the other one is mental laxity, that the mind becomes heavy, lethargic, inserviceable, and sinking. And should any of these 2 things happen, you apply the remedies. Number 4, apply the remedies. Remedies twofold: mental introspection and mindfulness. Introspection is to keep an eye on your mind, to see whether your mind is meditating, or it is in a lax state, or in a distracted state. And should you see that your mind is distracted or in a lax state, the job of the introspection is done. Next, the job of the mindfulness. Job of the mindfulness is to bring the mind back to the intended object of meditation. Okay, this is what I'm going to do for 5 minutes. Ready? Okay, the next is in lieu of the renunciation practice, we're going to do the 4 seals, the practice of the 4 seals. So this is, whereas in other traditions there is what is known as the practice of the 4 reflections, the practice of the lamrim and so forth. So all these things can be summarized in the practice of the 4 seals, the 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. We will quickly go through this in the form of the guided meditation. Okay, so what we do is that we are going to sit upright in a meditative posture, and the point is, so all the way down, the 4 seals, bodhicitta, wisdom and emptiness, all 3 will be in the form of the guided meditation. We'll just follow the instructions and don't ruminate over the past experiences, don't anticipate for anything of the future. Just be in the present moment. Be in the present moment, try to follow the instructions, and see how much you can invoke the respective experiences to the best you can. Just try your best. Just try your best, and even if something concrete does not happen, don't worry. As long as you're following instructions, you're getting somewhere. So that is so important. Okay. 4 immeasurables. So the 4 seals. 4 seals is to cultivate the renunciation. Renunciation means to renounce miseries. To renounce miseries, we need to know how to renounce miseries by renouncing the causes of miseries, knowing that the Buddha indicated, Om ye dharma hetu prabhava. All phenomena arise from the causes. And the best way by which to renounce the causes of miseries is by meditating on the 4 seals. First one, all composite things are impermanent. Impermanence, which is of 2 kinds. In other words, impermanence. Say the beautiful today, this morning, now it disappeared. And our youth, when we were 10 years old, 15 years old, they're all gone now. And they will never come back. This is the reality of the impermanence. $150 years ago, back in time, there must be like 6, if not 7 billion human beings as today, maybe like 6 billion human beings. 6 billion human beings who existed 150 years back in time. Not even a single person is alive today. And many of them, they have so much of expectation from their children. Oh, I want my child to be doing this, doing that, and so forth. So much plans for the children. Whether plans are accomplished or not accomplished. Along with the plans, all these people are gone. Not even a single person is left today. And that is 100% sure. And today there are 7 billion human beings. 150 years in the future from now, it's guaranteed, 100% guaranteed, that not even a single person today will be left then. Everyone will disappear. This is impermanence. So from this, thinking back in time, 150 years, 1,000 years, 1 million years, 1 billion years back in time, 150 years from now in the future, 1,000 years in the future, 1 billion years in the future, 10 billion years in the future. You think like this, what we are experiencing today is just a fleeting moment of time. It's so ephemeral, so impermanent, so transitory. This is reality of impermanence. We're a guest on this earth, being so transient. We're a guest on this earth. Guest will never think of putting the AC, putting the heating system, changing renovating the whole building, because you know that you're here just for like 2 or 3 days. So accordingly, you will enjoy your moment here, but will not think of doing something, investing everything on today. Instead, we'll think of the journey forward. This is the meaning of impermanence. If we get a very clear picture of this, we are a guest. Indeed, we are a guest on this earth. We are here just for a very brief moment of time. We don't really have time to fight amongst each other. Only thing that we have to do is do something wise, so that the onward journey is going to be meaningful. So what is our onward journey going to be like? That is determined by the causes. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum desham tathagato hyavatat. What the causes of the miseries are is indicated by the Tathagata. In our case, the next destination, next place is going to be like, that's going to be how we behave today, what we are doing today. And our mind, when that is under the sway, under the sway of the worst of the enemies, the contaminations, the future that we're going to experience is only going to be in the form of miseries. This is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things are of suffering nature. The worst of the contaminations are the self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. They're distorting the reality and over-emphasizing on the importance of the self. So these two demons are the ones which determine where we're going to go in the future. As long as we are under the sway of a very demonic driver, it will only take us to the slaughterhouse. Likewise, as long as we are under the sway of the two demons, self-grasping and the self-centered attitude, the result of that we're going to experience is only miseries. This is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things are of suffering nature. And this is fact. What kind of suffering? If you think very carefully, sickness, aging, death, the pain of losing near and dear ones, anxiety, stress, tension, depression, all these unending miseries, and these are the facts. These are all because of the self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. As long as we don't resort to the remedies to overcome these two things, we'll never come to the end of these miseries. And one moment of such miseries is good enough to just nullify all what we call as the flowery, happy life. It's just deceptive. That's fact. And this misery will keep going like this. For example, the misery being trapped in the earthquake, being trapped in the tsunami, being trapped in the hands of the terrorists. We never know what will happen next, after 1 year, after 2 years, 10 years, in accidents. We never know. And then next life, say all these problems, they are just waiting for us. They're just there, awaiting us. And these, when will they come to an end? Unless we put a deliberate attempt, they will never come to an end on their own. Things are of three kinds. One, even without any effort, things will come to an end automatically. For example, the beautiful sunshine, the evening, it comes to an end. Beautiful flower, in few days' time, it'll come to an end, it'll droop. Whereas there are some things which will never come to an end, however much you put effort. For example, your mind, it never comes to an end. It just keeps continuing. And the misery is something which will never come to an end unless we put effort. So there are three categories. One, if you put effort, it'll come to an end. If you don't put effort, it'll perpetuate. So the miseries, it can come to an end, but if you don't put effort, it'll never come to an end on its own. So how can we bring an end to this? What kind of effort is required? For that we need to know the nature of the miseries. Knowing that the miseries are rooted to the ignorance and subtle stains. We need to resort to remedies to overcome the ignorance. And ignorance is like darkness. Just as in dark you don't see anything, with ignorance you don't see the reality. So just as to eliminate darkness, we introduce the light. It is only through introducing the light of the wisdom that the darkness of ignorance can be eliminated. So what is this light of the wisdom? Wisdom, by the very definition, is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What's the reality? Reality is the third seal, which the Buddha indicated as everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness, meaning that everything is like a dream, everything is like an illusion. In the dream, you don't see the dream as dream, you see the dream as real. This is deception. Only when you wake up, you realize that the dream is dream. The moment you realize the dream is dream, all the nightmare of the dream will automatically stop. Likewise, everything is like a dream. How can I know that everything is like a dream? Okay, this is a very serious question. Of course, we're going to meditate, the emptiness that we're going to meditate on is going to be a very gross one, but this is so important. This is a final hope for us to get out of samsara altogether, get out of the fears of samsara altogether. Okay, let us quickly meditate on emptiness and just try to be very precisely following the precisely following the instruction. Okay, and at times it may become a little challenging. It doesn't matter. Just try to follow instructions. What are you doing? I'm meditating. And this person, how does this person appear to you? Like a dream? Like a movie projected by the movie projector? Oh no, it's not like a movie. It's solidly, so well defined, fixated there, so solidly there. Which of the two ways the self exists? The self appear to exist? Of course, it's so solidly there, nothing to do with movie, nothing to do with my mind. It seems so independently there. This is known as self-grasping ignorance. This is deceptive. This is one which which attracts all the miseries on us. And how can I know that this self, we seem to be so solid, is not true? How can I know this? Okay. Remember what Aranigarjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Likewise, if this person, if this I were to exist objectively, why don't I see this I as I go closer to this object? Okay, now let us go closer to this object. Going closer to this object, first we see the very thin layer of the skin. This is not me. We are only interested to look for this I, which seems to exist so objectively, so solidly there objectively. So what is not I, we will all delete them. Thin layer of the skin is not me. Behind that is the fatty tissues. Of course that is not me. Remove that. Behind that is the muscles and the cartilages. They are also not me. Remove them. Behind that is the blood vessels, the skeleton, the bone marrows. None of these is me, 100%. None of this is me. Remove them. So heart, the lungs, the kidney, the spleen, the pancreas, the liver, the gallbladder, none of these solid parts is me. So these solid parts constitute the element of earth. None of the element of earth is me. Remove them. What is left now? Element water. The blood which is pumped in and out by the heart to the different parts of the body. That is also not me. The blood-wise, there is no difference between the male blood and the female blood. There is no difference. There is not me. Whereas I am a girl, I am a man. Element water is also not me. Element fire, body heat. Body heat, again same thing. People can see me. People cannot see my body heat from distance. Even the body heat is also not me. The element of fire is also not me. Element of air, the air which I breathe in and out, even that is also not me. Element of space, the vacuum in nature. I'm made of millions and trillions of atoms, and the atoms are essentially empty in nature. The space between the space occupied by the electrons, protons, neutrons, and the space between the nucleus and the electrons, the space between the electrons and the nucleus is much bigger as compared to the size of the electrons, protons, so forth. So from there we see that essentially the atom is empty. I'm also empty in nature, but I as a person. So it is solid in nature as opposed to the space which is vacuum in nature. So therefore even the space is also not me. What is left now? Only the consciousness or the mind is left. Even the consciousness of the mind is also not me. Because I'm a male, I'm a female. And the mind does not have a gender. Because gender is posited on the basis of the body. The mind does not have a gender. So therefore the mind is also not me. And also the mind, people cannot see my mind, but people can see me. So therefore even the element of the consciousness is also not me. Remove that. What is left now? Nothing is left there. Earlier you saw the self was so objectively, so solidified there, so fixated there. Now I discovered that going close to his object, I see that it disappears. The self is nowhere to be found. Except for the 6 elements, nothing is there, is the self left there. Where's the self? It is not there, it disappeared. Earlier you said the self exists objectively, so solidly there. Yes, it so appeared like that, But now I realize that it is not there. Stay there for a while. Besides 6 elements, the self disappears. Self is empty. Stay in this experience of the emptiness of the self disappears. Stay there for a while. What is the benefit of seeing this self as empty? It's amazing. Yes, this amazing experience. It simply made me to feel disillusioned of seeing the self as so objective real. I'm disillusioned by that. But what's the benefit of this? Yes. When I subject the self to this analysis, the self disappears, and I discovered that from the object, the self doesn't exist. But then you come out of the meditation. Oh, the self appears, self comes back. Again you go into the meditation, self disappears. Again come out, self disappears. Okay, there's a change happening. Self appears, disappears, appears, disappears, appears, disappears. From the object there's no difference. There's no change there. But something is changing. That change is happening on the perception level. Perception is purely subjective. Subjective means not objective. So therefore the self is a part of this change which is purely happening on the perception level, on the subjective level. Because it is purely subjective, it is empty from the object side. So from the object, where is the self? This self is totally empty. Stay there for a while. Just as this self dissolves in this analysis, you subject all the miseries which we dislike, sickness, aging, death and so forth. All these miseries, when you subject them to the same analysis, we see that they also will disappear. The moment the miseries dissolve, what happens? The lightness of your mind, the happiness and the peace will take place of these miseries. So here, the miseries come to an end, disturbance comes to an end, your sorrow comes to an end. This is how we transcend the sorrow. So the Buddha indicated that the benefit of seeing this emptiness is that you will be able to transcend your sorrow. The transcending sorrow is the absolute peace which we are seeking. This is the 4th seal. Transcendence of sorrow is absolute peace. Stay in this experience for a while. Amazing peace now. All the miseries come to an end. Aspiring to achieve the state where the misconception of things to be objectively real, they are all dissolved, where your misery is dissolved and the causal misery is dissolved. That is known as the renunciation. This is aspiring to achieve that state. This is the aspiration for the total pacification, total freedom, and that aspiration is known as renunciation. This is the meaning of renunciation in its final form. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, slowly come out of the meditation. We'll now switch to the Bodhisattva practice. Slowly come out of the meditation. Okay, a few seconds. Take a rest for a few seconds. We'll switch to the Bodhisattva practice. Okay, ready? Now for the Bodhisattva practice, reinforce the visualization of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of particularly Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened beings in front of you, and for whom you are going to generate bodhicitta. Say our very dear friend, our late Mithun, and our very dear friend, late Siringla, your two parents, all sentient beings, your family, everyone. Imagine all of them are around you. For them you are generating bodhicitta to be inspired and blessed by all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, with that in mind, let us again do the same thing. We're going to do the practice of bodhicitta on the basis of the 4 immeasurables. Of course, when you do it on your own, it is good to do one of the 2 methods or both methods, 7-fold cause effect method or the equalizing exchanging method. But here, because of constraint of time, we'll do that on the basis of the 4 immeasurables. 4 immeasurables will be ended with the bodhicitta commitment. Okay, again the same thing. Stop ruminating over the past experiences. Disengage yourself from anticipating for the future. Be in the present moment and follow the instructions to the best you can, and see how much you can invoke the respective experiences to the best you can. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear Mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Causes of happiness, primarily the bodhicitta, which cherishes others more than oneself, and the wisdom of emptiness, to see everything as like dream, as like illusion. May all my dear Mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear Mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you, like a mother for the first time, after all these many years of hardship, raising her children. Today, for the first time, her eldest daughter or eldest son is telling the mother, "Mother, please take rest. I'll take care of all my siblings. I'm already grown up. You have done everything for us. And I'm already grown up. I'll take care of all my siblings, and I'll also take care of you. Please take rest. I'm already grown up. I'll take the responsibility." The mother could not believe her ears for the first time, tears rolling down her cheeks with so much of love and joy that she feels towards you. This exactly is what is happening to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They are so intensely happy to see that you are making such a courageous commitment to take the responsibility of all the dear sentient beings. The intense love and affection, intense pride and happiness the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas experience invokes their compassionate, omniscient minds to send forth nectars and very, very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and the nectars with the bodies makes yours instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness in the minds of sentient beings and yourself. And you, witnessing such a miraculous happening towards all the dear sentient beings, you are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The cause of suffering primarily consisting of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you, and this pride and happiness invokes their compassionate, omniscient minds to send forth nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies makes yours, washes away all the miseries and the cause of miseries from the minds of sentient beings in yourself. You witnessing such a miraculous happening to us all the dear sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all mighty Amara sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the cause of the happiness that they are endowed with. May all mighty Amara sentient beings never be separated from happiness and the cause of happiness that they are endowed with. I will take the responsibility that all mighty Amara sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they are endowed with. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you, and this pride and happiness invoke the compassionate omniscient minds to send forth nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all the sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours stabilizes the happiness and the cause of happiness the beings are endowed with. You witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all the demon sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with the relief. And finally, the immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all mighty Amara sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and instead abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all the eternal sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. May all mighty Amara sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. I will take the responsibility that all mighty Amara sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the compassionate omniscient minds to send forth nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all ultimate sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and the nectars with the bodies and beings of yours frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, instead making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other eternal sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all the eternal sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Underscoring all the 4 immeasurables is the unconditional love towards all eternal sentient beings. Imagine that you are piercing through the eyes of each of the sentient beings with tremendous love and affection, one by one, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. Amazing. This unconditional love that you're experiencing now, be it superficial, it doesn't matter. This is a seed of bodhicitta. This is a seed of the full awakening that you're going to achieve eventually. Amazing. We are so lucky. We are so lucky that this is what is happening. So with the spirit, with folded hands, I'll say line of bodhicitta, commitment of bodhicitta, and let us all say this 3 times together to the best you can, in the most evocative, in the most, the vibrant and the power of the emotion. I'll say the line first, and then we all say this 3 times together to the best we could, in the most powerful form. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. Amazing, the beautiful, courageous mind of Bodhicitta. This is the most beautiful mind that can possibly exist in the universe, and today we have generated it. Amazing. Just abide in this experience for a while. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of Bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean moon disk, 1 inch or 1.5 inches in diameter, horizontally sitting at the heart, a spotlessly clean moon disk at the heart. Amazing! You made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha. But the question is, since time immemorial, millions, billions of years ago, since then, you got the opportunity to awaken, to become Buddha, but then you never became Buddha. How can you know that you have the potential to become Buddha? For example, handful of sand, if you squeeze, no oil will come out of that, but a handful of sunflower seeds, if you squeeze a handful, the oil will come out of that. So how can you know that you have a Buddha nature? Of course, my mind is not like a handful of sand, it's like a handful of the sunflower seeds. But how come that it is not awakened? The Buddha, the oil never came out since time immemorial till now. The Buddha never came out of this till now. Yes, of course. It's all because of my living in the illusion of seeing the 2 demons as my friends. Self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude as my friends. Today I'm disillusioned by these 2 demons. I'm not going to see them as my friends anymore, these 2 demons. I will put every effort to exterminate the 2 demons from my mind. The once the 2 demons are eliminated, the mental defilements are totally gone, and the true nature of the true nature of the mind will come out. Like the gold mixed with the soil, once the wear in this mixture, this gold does not shine. By removing the soil more and more, the gold inside will shine more and more. Once the soil is removed altogether, the gold will remain so pure, and it will shine brilliant. Likewise, once the 2 demons within me, they are removed altogether, then the Buddha nature within me will shine with a tremendous, incredible bliss, with the perfection of the wisdom, and the perfection of the bliss, and the perfection of compassion. So this is what is going to happen. But how can you make it happen now? Yes, I have to counteract the self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. We are all rooted to the ignorance, self-grasping ignorance and a subtle stains. I will resort to the wisdom of emptiness to counteract these darkness of self-grasping ignorance. What is this wisdom of emptiness? Okay, quickly retrieve the experience of emptiness which we meditated as a part of the 4 seals, the 3rd seal, the part of the 4 seals. Okay, quickly retrieve the experience of the emptiness of the self. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. And what is the self like? Is it like a dream, or is it not like a dream, so solidly there? Or like a dream which is made of coming from your mind? Well, nothing to do with mind, it's so solidly there. Of course, it is so solidly there. This is not the self-grasping ignorance. This is responsible for attracting all the miseries and making this Buddha nature defiled into this, the stains. Okay, how can I know that this self does not exist independently there, so objectively there? Okay, quickly retrieve the experience of the emptiness which we did earlier. You see that this self is nothing but made of these 6 elements: earth, a solid part, like the thin layer of the skin, the fatty tissues, the bones, the heart, the lungs, the muscles, the cartilages, and then the gallbladder, the liver, and so forth. None of these solid parts, and the earth is made, remove that. And water, the blood, element of fire, the body heat, element of air, the air which we breathe in and out from the lungs, element of space, element of consciousness. None of these is me. Remove all of them. What is left there as the self now? Nothing is left there as the self. Where is the self which seems to be so solid from the object? It disappears. It is empty. Okay, stay in this experience that the self, this 100% is really sure that the self disappears. 100%. That amidst these 6 elements, nowhere to be seen as the self. Self disappears. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, slowly transform this wisdom of emptiness into a spotlessly clean white Vajra, thumb-sized white Vajra, vertically sitting on the moon disk at your heart. Wow, it's amazing. You have the moon, which symbolizes the conventional bodhicitta, which is the final remedy to overcome the self-centered attitude, and a Vajra symbolizing the ultimate bodhicitta, which is the final remedy to overcome the self-grasping ignorance. With these 2 remedies intact there within you, is guaranteed that the 2 demons are going to be exterminated altogether from your mind, and the Buddha nature that within your mind, the ultimate source of happiness that exists within your mind, will become fully blossomed and manifest. You become like a sun. It's amazing, amazing, so lucky. But don't forget that all the demon sentient beings, your parents, and late Mithunji, late Serinla, and all your family members, your children, everyone is around you, they are suffering, they don't have these 2. That's very true. With tremendous love and affection with all of them. This tremendous love and affection invoke the Vajra moon that you have at your heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one set with your mother, one set with your father, one set with each one of your family members, one set with the Mithunla, one set with Serinla, one set with each one here in Delhi, one set each one of the human beings, animals, insects, the spirits, the devas devis in India, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe. Now all sentient beings have this Vajra moon. It's amazing, amazing. Amazing. Also don't forget that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they've been watching us since the time we started this practice. They're watching us. Amazing. They are so proud of you today. They are so happy today. Why not we invite them as a guest, as a witness to undertaking this Aspirational Bodhisattva vow, the ceremony of undertaking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow. For that matter, as a gesture of making a request, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations, along with all the dear sentient beings, along with our late Mithunla, late Serinla, everyone, to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, those of us who do not have knee problem or backache problem, you can sit on your right knees. Sit on your right knees. Those who have problem, sit whichever position is more comfortable. Those of you who are on chairs, you sit on the chairs, it doesn't matter. Sit on the chairs. And those of us who have no problems, right, sit on your right knees. Okay, good. Okay, let us turn to page 46. Let us turn to page 46. Yes, page 46. Okay, page 46. And of course, visualize that all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are watching us, and because that we already invited them to be a guest and to be our witness to undertaking the ceremony of the take an aspirational bodhisattva vow, and then your two parents, visualize them with you, then your children, your family members, and of course our dear Mithun and dear Sringla, two of them with us, and everyone, every being, every sentient being is taking part in this, and you are leading this. And all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas with great excitement, they are watching us, what we are doing here. Okay, so the page 46, the last stanza, this is to reinforce and to prepare ourselves in this aspiration, the ceremony of undertaking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow. So the first line says, I go for refuge to the children, because this is an incredibly great, important ceremony and greatest meaning of a life. If you can take this ceremony on a daily basis, no doubt you will see that you will realize that this is the greatest meaning of my life. And then you will see a transformative change happening within oneself, in your mind. Your mind will become forever happier and happier. While your age-wise you are aging, but your happiness will keep growing. Okay, so because this is an incredibly important, the noblest of the journey that can possibly think of in this universe, we need a great support. So the first line says, I go for a refuge in Triple Gem. We are seeking support of the Triple Gem. Then the second one is, I confess the negative, is by seeking the support of the Triple Gem, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So that, to undertake this journey, with the help of the three jewels, what I want is that this road of the journey, the road which is involved with the journey, this road must be cleared of the obstacles. So our road, the road of this journey is none other than our mind. Our mind must be cleared of the obstacles and the defilements. And if the road is blocked with the trees, boulders and so forth, you cannot take the journey. So our mind, when it is full of mental obscurations, mental defilements, we cannot undertake the journey of the enlightenment. So we need to clear the mental defilements. The best way by which we clear the mental defilements is by confessing the negativities. Number two, after clearing the road is very clear now, but if the car does not have the fuel, then again we cannot undertake the journey. Car should have enough fuel. So for that matter, our mind is the car. Our mind is the car that needs to be energized with tremendous merit. Merit accumulation is so important for us to undertake this journey. And the best way by which to accumulate this merit in such a short span of time in the most effective way is by rejoicing in the virtues of all other beings. So number three is, I rejoice in the virtues of all beings. That is to accumulate enormous merit within a short span of time. And then road is ready, the car is ready. Then what do you want to do with this? I want to take this journey of enlightenment. The goal, I want to take this car to enlightenment. That is the fourth line. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I will become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So this stanza we can use this stanza itself for undertaking the ceremony of the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow. But then here we are going to do it more elaborately. So this is like a preparation. We'll wholeheartedly say this 3 times, and don't miss this. You are leading this, and all sentient beings are joining you, and all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, the next 2 stanzas is the main ceremony. The first line says, Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. This is invoking, as we said earlier, because this is a very important journey. We need a tremendous support, incredible support. There's the best of support is the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, the Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. So with this, and also you are invoking them as your the witness, and the 2 stanzas following that, the 2 stanzas of the meaning is as following. Say, one pertaining to the Buddhas, those who have already, the beings who have already become Buddhas. So how are they successful in becoming Buddha? Number 1, for 2 reasons. 1, initially they generated this incredibly courageous mind of the bodhicitta. First they generated the courageous mind of bodhicitta, and after generating this courageous mind of bodhicitta to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, to materialize this aspiration, then they engaged in the bodhisattva practices. Bodhisattva practice two things. First the motivation, bodhicitta, then to materialize the aspiration of this bodhicitta, they engage in the bodhisattva deeds, bodhisattva practices. For these two things, now they become Buddhas to benefit. Look at the Buddha Shakyamuni, just one person who became Buddha 2,500 years ago. How many billions and billions of beings are benefited just by one person becoming enlightened? Likewise, each one of us, when we become Buddhas, we also will have the same capacity to help billions and billions of beings. It is for this reason that what we are doing today, this is so precious. So this is pertaining to the Buddhas. If this is how the Buddhas are being successful, I will also follow the footsteps. I will also first generate bodhicitta, and to materialize the aspiration of this bodhicitta, I will also engage in the bodhisattva practices, bodhisattva deeds. Okay, so with this, during the third repetition, with the last two lines when we say, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices, imagine that you have actually received the aspirational bodhisattva vow, and then feel the joy of having received that. Okay, let's say this 3 times wholeheartedly. Don't forget it. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us, and like say for say like the child, a very young child, a young son or a young daughter, say aged like maybe 6 or 7, for the first time in his or her life, making a public performance. And then the parents, they come there to give moral support, telling them that we are just there amidst the audience to watch you doing, waving their hands to you. This is exactly what is happening today. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us, they're so happy and proud of you. And since time immemorial till now, what we've been doing is all the nasty things. We've been bringing only the embarrassments to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And today we are bringing something, good news for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, that they feel so proud of us. Say like the very girl or the boy always bringing embarrassment to the parents, and every time the school principal brings complaint to the parents. And today the school principal, escorted by his or her, say the other staff, and then coming to the mother, again the mother becomes so apprehensive, again what my daughter might have done, my son might have done, so apprehensive. But today is very different. The principal and everyone comes with such a respect, with such a smile there, and then what has happened today is very different. And then instead of making complaint, they congratulate you. Your daughter is appointed as the best of the student of this school, this year, and your son is along with her, he's also appointed as the best of the 2 best students of the year for this year of the school. Then you could not believe your eyes, ears and eyes as a mother. Every time embarrassment is being brought, complaints are being there. But today you are hearing something very different. This is exactly what has happened to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. That since time immemorial till today, we have been only embarrassments, only frustrations on the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Today, for the first time, we are doing something so good that all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they feel so happy, so happy. So this is how we should visualize all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas with us, and that all the dear sentient beings, they are joining us. Our late Mithunji, our late Siringla, and everyone, your 2 parents and everyone, they are joining us here in this ceremony. So with that in mind, let's say this 3 times. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will change the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I'll generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall do successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Okay, just feel the joy over having received the Aspirational Bodhisattva, and the commitment that we have is that from today onwards, to the best I can, I will try to be as kind as possible to others, and I will always, to the best I can, I will refrain from harming others. Okay, so with this, feel the joy of having received the Aspirational Bodhisattva and the Bodhisattva. They are so happy, intensely proud of you for what you've done today. This is the best, the offering that you can make to all Bodhisattvas, and today you made it, and this is the best gift that you can offer to your two parents, your children, to all the dear mother sentient beings, and today you did it. This is the greatest moment, this is the most memorable moment that can possibly exist in this universe, and it happened today. And so this, the tremendous joy and the pride or the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas feel over your gesture today, that invokes the Vajra moon at the house of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to multiply infinite number of times in barrages, like the rain shower. In barrages, they descend to merge with the one that you visualize at the heart, at your heart, the Vajra moon at your heart. They merge with the one that you visualize at the heart. They become non-dual, they are stabilized, they are blessed. Likewise, in barrages, the Vajra moon from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with one that you visualize at the heart of our late Mithunji. At the heart of our late Siringla. At the heart of your mother, at the heart of your father, at the heart of every one of your children, everyone in your family, everyone in Delhi, everyone in the entire universe. This amazing practice, and this all happened because of the kindness of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, once again, let us slowly stand up to make three prostration along with all dear sentient beings to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, now take your seats, sit comfortably, take your seats. Okay, this incredibly precious practice, how in future lives, whether or not we will meet with the same practice, that we are not too sure. To make sure that we can continue with this practice even in the future lifetimes, we will include this prayer, which is on page 47, and in the middle, the second last paragraph, second last stanza, the verse. Let's say this 3 times, wholeheartedly. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Okay. Then rejoicing over having undertaken the ceremony of the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow. This is so important because the rejoicing this in the future lifetimes you encounter with the teaching of Buddhism and so forth, there's a tremendous joy coming to you. This joy will connect you, because when we have, if I love the flower, automatically my mind will be always chasing after the flower. So therefore our mind will chase after the bodhicittas in the next life. So rejoicing is so important. So for that matter, we'll continue reading the following to rejoice in the virtues that we gathered over having generated this bodhicitta. In order to further increase it from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized an awakened mind in this way should highly praise in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha and now I'm one of Buddha's children. Thus whatever action I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace and pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel of hidden rubbish, likewise by some coincidence awakened mind has been born within me. Okay, just wait a minute. Awakened mind here refers to the bodhicitta. This is another way of translation. And in the following stanzas, where the pronoun it is there, it should be referred to the bodhicitta. Up stanza, say 28. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. It is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world, is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease, is the tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence, is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth, is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions, is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world, is the quintessential butter from the journey of the milk of dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the abundance of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors and by the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight, may gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, now we'll turn to the page 43. Page 43, the following stanzas, they are taken from Bodhisattva Shantidevas Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. It's from chapter 9, and this is done at the advice of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I think 2013. Yes, 2013. His Holiness, the Secretary of His Holiness, called me to the hotel where His Holiness was staying in Delhi, and then His Holiness gave me whole the list of the instructions, and as a part of that, he said that during big programs Tibet House is organizing in the particularly in Bodhicitta Park, it is good if you can organize taking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow on that every time you organize such programs. And then as a part of that you can also include this stanza. So this is what His Holiness, he personally mentioned this. And then jokingly he said that if you see that people complaining that this is something which he just created, self-creation, it's not really a standard, then he's not said that it doesn't matter, then you just rub it on me. Say that it's His Holiness who said it. Okay, so what we're doing is a part of the advice of His Holiness. So we'll recite this. What we're reciting, the meaning is actually the compassion. So the whole thing that we're doing here is the compassion wisdom. And compassion, some people, by seeing somebody in pain, we may see the intensity of the compassion, but it doesn't guarantee that the compassion is profound. It is intense, but the profundity may not be there. Bodhisattva's compassion must be not only intense, it should be so profound. So the profundity of the compassion will be determined by how profoundly you see the beings are suffering. Simply the superficial suffering, hunger, thirst, pain, this is one suffering. The second one is suffering of change. Third one is the pervasive conditioned suffering, right? By seeing how the beings are suffering because of lacking the knowledge of the emptiness. That is the subtlest of the suffering. So the bodhisattvas should be able to see the suffering on all three levels, not only the superficial one, right? On all three levels. So these following stanzas, they are how the Bodhisattva Shantideva, he was reflecting on compassion, seeing how the beings are suffering because of lack of the understanding of emptiness. Okay. So talking about how everything, while everything is like a dream, but failing to see this, then we just are engrossed in the dream as real, and then in the dream you fight with the people, then you go through the unnecessary miseries, sickness, aging, death and so forth in the dreams, and then as long as you don't wake up from the dream, we continue to suffer at the dictates of the dream. So this is how all the beings are suffering. All sufferings the beings are going through, is all because of a lack of understanding, our lack of having the capacity, having the ability to come out of the dream. So it's why we could not come out of the dream, because of lack of knowledge of the experience of the emptiness. Okay, so in the end he says that how I wish that I'm able to share this wisdom of emptiness to all other dear sentient beings. This is how he concluded. Okay, let us say this together. Therefore, sentient beings resemble dreams. Upon analysis, they are like plantain trees. Whether they release or not from sorrow, ultimately there is no difference. What is there to gain and what is there to lose with things that are empty of true existence in this way? Who is there to pay me respect and who is there to abuse? From what are pleasure and pain derived? What is there to be free, happy or unhappy about? When searches for the ultimate nature, who is there to crave and what is there to crave for? Upon analysis, this world of living beings is found to have no true existence. Therefore, who can die here? What is there to come and what has been? Who are friends and who are relatives? O you who are investigating reality, please recognize, as I've done, that all is just like space. Those who wish happy are greatly disturbed by causes for conflict and overjoyed by the causes for pleasure. Not finding happiness, they suffer, and in order to find it, they exert themselves. They argue with others, cut and stab one another. With many wrong deeds, they live in a state of great hardship. Even though they repeatedly come to happy existences and experience much pleasure there, upon dying they fall for a long time into the unbearable suffering of lower realms. Within conditioned existence, the chasms of suffering are many, and the liberating comprehension of ultimate truth is absent. Furthermore, the apprehension of true existence and the understanding of emptiness mutually contradict to one another. Yet if conditioned existence, I do not realize this ultimate truth, I shall continue to experience a limitless ocean of misery, unbearable and beyond analogy. Likewise, through not having realized emptiness, I have little strength for virtue, and my human life of leisure and endowment is indeed very short. Also, I strive hard to live long and avoid illness. I am concerned with hunger, rest and sleep. I am injured by others and keep meaningless company with the childish. Therefore, this life swiftly passes with no meaning, and it is very hard to find a chance to investigate reality. In this state, where is there the means to reverse this beginningless habit of grasping into existence? Furthermore, devils are exerting themselves to cast us into vast unfortunate realms. There are many mistaken paths, and it is hard to resolve doubts about the perfect way. It will be hard to find the leisure of human life again, and extremely difficult to find the presence of the Buddhas. It is hard to forsake this flood of afflictions. Alas, sentient beings will continue to suffer. Oh, indeed, it is worth feeling sorrow for those that drift in the river of pain, who, although they experience great misery, are unaware of the suffering they go through. And others repeatedly enter, but although they thereby suffer greatly, they pretend themselves as being happy. Similarly, those who mistake their suffering for joy and live as though there were no aging or death are first of all killed by the lot of death, and then experience the unbearable misery of falling into lower realms. When shall I be able to extinguish the pains of those tormented by the fires of suffering with the aim of my accumulated happiness that has sprung from the clouds of my merits, and by having in the manner of not objectifying true existence and intensely may I regather the accumulation merit? When will I be able to reveal emptiness to those who are wretched of true existence? Okay, so now we will quickly do the sock offering. Quickly do that. It will not take much time, and I request Venerable Kabirji to just jump to the sock offering directly.
Just the song.
Song offering directly, yes. Which page is that? Song offering. Huh? 230?
231.
234, 230, 231. Okay, yes, 231, 231. Song offering. Okay, so Venerable Kabirji will lead the song offering, right? Okay, so the idea is song offering. So this is making the offering of all the say what we have offered there on the form of the edibles. More important than the edibles is the blessed, the nectar, and the what is known the solid part there. So these are the two things which are going to be blessed by all of us. By reciting this, we're going to bless them, and also the edibles, bless them. How we bless them is, first of all, we see them as so ordinary objects there. We first dissolve them into emptiness, which we already did as a part of the four seals. Dissolve them into emptiness. From the emptiness, we visualize them arising in the form of the celestial delicacies, which can invoke the experience of the emptiness, experience of the compassion, experience of bliss within us, within all the beings, all the demon sentient beings. So this is what we're going to do. And then in the wordings of the blessing the things there, you will see the mention of some, say, obscene items like the blood, like the scalp, the bones and so forth, skulls and so forth. They are mentioned there. They are for us to remember the impermanence. Remember the impermanence. It is not to be literally to be understood like this, but to remind us of the reality of impermanence that eventually will go into in the form of the skulls and so forth, and are all the aggregations, the constituencies that we are made of. These constituents will all be separated, right? But we should not be afraid of. This is reality. By knowing this reality, then we'll know how to transcend this reality through seeing emptiness, and then eventually freeing ourselves from the ensnarement of all the external factors in samsara, that we are no more going to be bound to samsara anymore. Okay, so this is the basic idea. So with that in mind, okay, Venerable Kabirji, what we do is that, so I will also do when we come to stanza 69, if I do not finish my own blessing, the Tibetan form, then I think we will finish. If not, then we will recite the Om Muni Muni Mahamani for some time. So we will read from here to bless till stanza 60. Huh? Oh. Okay, so till stanza 60, till 60, till 60, you will read this, and meanwhile I will do my own the verses to bless the song, right? So if you finish before me, then after 60 you just recite Om Muni Muni Mahamani Swaha.
Okay.
Right?
So we're not reciting verses
no, we'll recite.
Up to 68?
No, we'll recite later on.
Later on.
Yeah, I will indicate that to you. Okay, yeah.
Pure Pranta and secret offerings, objects that bind us closer and fields of vision, pervade the reaches of space, earth and sky, spreading out different mountain ranges. In essence, they are pristine awareness. In aspect, the inner offerings and various objects of offering, Their function is to generate the extraordinary pristine awareness of emptiness and bliss as objects to be enjoyed by the sixth senses. In the grand play of pristine awareness, all places of Vajra fields, and all structures majestic Vajra houses, oceans of clouds of Vajra offerings, below all objects are imbued with the glory of all wishes, all beings are actual Virat and Jini. There is not even the world of purity of God. All is but infinitely pure. Namaste, Namagaya, in which all mental and fabrications are filled, on top of the turbulent winds and blazing fires, upon the brow of the tripod of three human heads, within the top of human sattva, the ingredients simply appear one by one. Placed above the heart, each sparkling with brilliant color, the wind becomes turbulent, fires flare, the ingredients melt, from their boiling bubbles all copious flavors. From the three letters, like great radiant arms and tender nectar, drawing back the three vajras with nectar, and dissolving the these melt with the nectar and blend with the ingredients, purifying, transforming, and increasing time.
Which page? Which stanza?
Verse 61, page 233.
Page 61. No? Page 233, verse 61. Yes. Yes.
Oh, host of brutal lineage, gurus, yadams, host of deities, three jewels of refuge, Siddhartha, Shakinis, Brahmapalas, guardians of the teachings, I request you, who are in the nature of compassion, to appear and come to this offering side. Place your radiant feet firmly upon this elegant throne formed of jewels, amidst the ocean clouds of our Veda and secret offerings. Grant us who are striving in the supreme realizations of powerful attainments that we all wish for. Oh, this was the light-ful offering of uncontaminated nectar blessed by Samadhi, Mantra, and Mudra. We offer in order to please you, hosts of brood and lineage gurus. Oh, Mama, I'm contented by your sword with all splendors in the English law. Dear Mama, please bless all the great rain of blessings. Blessed by concentration, mantra, and mudra, this ocean light sword offering of spotless nectar, I offer pure delight, assembly of brood, lineage gurus. Satisfied by enjoying an abundant all you wish, these I beg that fall a rain of great blessings. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this social life, soul offerings, and spotless nectar, I offer for your delight, assemblies of Yidam, deities and attendants, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, lay all the great rain of after accomplishment. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this ocean light, soul offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight, assemblies of most precious jewels, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let all the great rain of the holy karma, blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this ocean light, soul offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight, assemblies of darkness and dharma protectors, satisfied by enjoying abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall the great rain of virtuous deeds, blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this ocean light, soul offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight, assemblies of other sentient beings, satisfying and abundance of all you wish. Please let delusive appearances and suffering be allayed.
Okay, we're going to say this 2 times more. The idea is that if you could remember what we said, the first we offer to all the gurus. Then number 2 we made offering to the deities. Number 3 we make the offerings of all these to the 3 jewels. Number 4, we make the offering to the Dharmapalas, the Dharma protectors. Number 5, we offer to all the sentient beings. So when we make offerings, there's also the request that we make to each of them. So to the gurus, we make the request that they bestow upon us the blessings. And then to the deities, we request them to bestow upon us the siddhis, or spiritual accomplishments. Then for the 3 jewels, we request them to give us the dharma, the teachings, the dharma. And then to the dharma protectors, we request them to support us, to make sure that the obstacles are eliminated in the pursuit of our journey of the dharma. And then finally, when to the sentient beings, we make the offerings and make the request that what make the sentient beings suffer in samsara is because of the delusive appearances, seeing things as objectively real. So get rid of just make sure that you put effort to remove all the delusive appearances. Make sure that you see things as empty of objective reality. So we make the offerings to the individual, the 5 objects, and then make the 5 respective the requests. Okay, this is what we're going to say 2 times more. Yeah.
Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, the social life, soul offering, spotless nectar, I offer for your delight, assemblies of root, lineage food, satisfied by enjoying abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let all the great rain of blessing, concentration, mantra and mudra, the social life, soul offering, spotless nectar, offer for your delight, assemblies of root and deities and attendants, satisfied by enjoying abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall a great rain of blessings. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this ocean life, soul offering of spotless nectar, offer for your delight, assemblies of Yidam, deities, satisfied by enjoying abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall a great rain of the holy dharma. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this ocean life, soul offering of spotless nectar, offer for your delight, assemblies of darkness and dharma protectors, satisfied by enjoying abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall a great rain of virtuous deeds. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this ocean light, soul offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight, assemblies of other sentient beings, satisfied by enjoying abundance of all you wish. Please let delusive appearance and suffering be allayed. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this ocean light, soul offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight, assemblies of root, lineage food, satisfied by enjoying abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall a great rain of blessings. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this ocean life, soul offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight, assemblies of Yidam, deities and attendants, satisfied by enjoying abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall a great rain of powerful accomplishment. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this ocean life, soul offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight, assemblies of the most precious jewels, satisfied by enjoying abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall a great rain of the holy dharma. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this ocean light, soul offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight, assemblies of darkness and dharma protectors, Satisfied by enjoying abundance of all you wish, please, I beg, let fall a great rain of virtuous desired deeds. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra, this ocean-like soul offering of spotless nectar, out of your delight, assemblies of mother sentient beings, satisfied by enjoying abundance of all you wish, please let delusive appearances and suffering be allayed. Look, venerable, a great circle of soul, you have followed in the track of the Sugata the 3 times, and are the source of all powerful attainments. Since we realize this, O great hero, who has forsaken the conceptualizing mind, please enjoy continually this circle of soul.
Very good. Continue. 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 Continue.
With nature
inseparable from the 3 vajras,
I visualize myself as the Guru. This nature of immaculate wisdom knowledge, without stirring from bodhicitta, I drink to satisfy the deities dwelling in body. What great bliss!
Okay, so what we do is that the Menugaji, she's having this the nectar. So there's a spoon. Okay, so with the spoon, you will give 1 spoon each for everyone. So this, you take the sip. As you sip it, you taste it. Taste the sweetness that you imagine that you're experiencing the compassionate bliss, and then this experience of the bliss. With this, you try to see where is the self. The self is empty. This is known as the union of bliss and emptiness. You try to do this. So this will help to clear all the defects in your body. And then what the Sanjeevji is holding, so that Sanjeevji again with a small spoon, if possible. Yes, spoon it. Okay, to eat it. So this is to attract the siddhis, spiritual powers for yourself. Okay, so and this is what we're going to do. Yes. Okay. Yes. So everybody will take this, and now what we do is that, okay, the younger ones, some of the younger ones, maybe like 4, 5, 6, you can come up to distribute the salt to everyone.
Verse 71.
Okay, others will continue reading with Venerable Kabirji.
To all Tathagata Buddhas, Vira heroes, Yoginis, Darkanis, to all of you I make this request.
O Hiruka, who delights in supreme bliss,
and who attends the Buddha experiencing bliss, please find join yourself in accordance with the right, join with simultaneous bliss and emptiness. May the host sustain his darkness, look with loving compassion and accomplish all deeds. Oh, we make our request to you. Who are the thoughts of Yoginis, Yoginis, with its darting soothing movements to protect the thirsty exceedingly to please. The multitude of darkness come before us and bless us. Bestow upon us innate great bliss. You, the multitude of immaculate darkness, look upon us with love. Bestow all powerful attainment. Oh, we make our request to you. The target God has gone as well as to the Viras Yogi in charge of darkness. The great bliss that possesses of degrading qualities. The great bliss without which freedom cannot be gained in one life. Oh, the Dios name, let it be done. The great bliss of life is the scent of the Supreme Lord. You, the multitudes of immaculate darkness, look upon us with love, and bestow the powerful attainment. Whom we make our request to you, that the Bhagavad Gita has gone as well to the Yogi in darkness, just as the Lord was born out of the mud. Bring bliss to one out of desires unsullied by scorn. O Supreme Yogi, by the bliss of your lotus, may the bonds of desire be quickly untied. La 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 la. You the multitude of immaculate darkness, look upon us with love, bestow the powerful attainments, whom we make our request to you, that the targets with us gone as well as to the villas of the opening darkening, like a full beings when full to necks of cloud, may we likewise be satiated by the captivating nectar of the jewel lotus possessing 6 qualities. La 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 la. You are the multitude of immaculate darkenings, look upon us with love, bestow all the powerful attainments, only and build the circle appearances become.
Yeah, so this is finished. Yeah, that's happening. Okay. Try very sooner the better. Okay, so what we do is that now, so from the talk that you got, you can eat just part of it, small part of it, and then from the leftover, from the remaining, you can, somebody's going to come to pick up the leftovers. So from there you can offer some to be placed on the tray which somebody is bringing. So that is meant for, that is the share for the local spirits. That is the share for the local spirits. The idea is that local spirits, it is because of the karmic obscuration that they cannot partake. They cannot partake in what we enjoy. So because of the karmic obscuration, they only get only if we give the say the end part, then they can partake in this. Otherwise, they cannot partake in it because of the karmic obscuration. So what you do is that you eat something, and then from the remaining you can give something to this to eat. Okay, the Jordana here. Okay, so. Oh. No, Jordana. First you go down. Okay. Then come in the end. Finished?
Yeah.
You have? You're okay. Yeah.
We need the lamp and incense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe you can be kind and give something bigger. Not necessarily small. Okay, so then the done, you come up. sit here. While we indicate, then you can take it from here. You're down. First you keep it. Okay, yes. Very good, Kabirji. Okay, the offering the remaining salt to the local spirits, page 237.
Oh, yes, the all detected appearances become purified in the sphere of brightness. Ah, this magnificent nectar created out of pristine awareness. Om becomes a vast ocean of all divine things. Om 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 Om. Oh, this ocean of remaining salt of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by Samadhi, Mantra and Mudra, we offer to please you, host of both bound ground protectors. Om Om, contented by your thought with all the splendors that could be wished for. Oh, please accomplish the virtuous conduct of the yogic path as you have said. Oh, by offering this ocean of remaining thought to the guests who are left together with their entourage, may the precious teachings proliferate. May the upholders of the teachings, the offering patrons, together with their entourage, especially we yogis, all gain freedom from sickness, a long life, fame, good fortune, and abundant wealth as wished for. Bestow on us the powerful attainments of action, such as pacification, increase, and so forth. O our protectors, protect us. Help us obtain all powerful attainments. Make us meet no untimely death, sickness, demons, or inferior spirit. See that we have no bad dreams, ill omens, or calamities. May we have worldly happiness, good crops and harvests. May the Dharma flourish, all goodness and joy come about, and may all wishes in our minds be fulfilled. And by the force of this bountiful giving, may I become a self-evolved Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. And by this gesture of generosity, may I liberate the multitudes of beings who are not liberated by the Buddhas of the past.
Okay, so from here, reviewing the entire stage, but this is very precious. Just see how much we can reflect on the meanings. So what can really benefit our late Mithun, our late Sirila, if you can reflect on these meanings, then that can really benefit your near and dear ones. So this is so very comprehensive and very powerful. Okay, so we'll say this together. Page 238, stanza 83. O holy and venerable Gurus, supreme figure of merit, inspire me to make offerings and devotees' requests to you, O protectors and root of all, that I may come unto your joyous care. Inspire me to realize how this opportune and fortunate rebirth is rare, found once and quickly lost, and thereby undistracted by the meaningless works of this life. Seize this meaningful essence. Afraid as I am of this searing blaze of suffering in the lower realms, inspire me to take heartfelt refuge in the three precious gems, and to fervently strive at wielding non-virtue and accomplishing all collections of virtue. Violently tossed as I am by waves of delusion karmas, plagued by hosts of sea monsters, the three sufferings, inspire me to develop an intense longing to be free of this dreadful boundless existence. I've abandoned the view that sees this unbearable prison of cyclic existence as a pleasure growth. Inspire me to train in the three trainings, the store of the arduous treasures, and thereby uphold the banner of liberation. I've considered how all these tormented beings are my mothers who have kindly cared for me again and again. Inspire me to devote like that of a loving mother for her precious child. As no desires even the slightest suffering, nor even has enough happiness, there is no difference between myself and others. Therefore, inspire me to rejoice when others are happy. This chronic disease of cherishing myself is the cause of unwanted suffering. Perceiving this, may I be inspired to blame, begrudge, and destroy this monstrous demon of self-cherishing. Cherishing my mothers and seeking to secure them in bliss is the gateway to infinite virtues. Seeing this, may I be inspired to hold them dearer than my life, even should they arise as my enemies. In brief, infantile beings labor for their own gain alone, while the Buddhas work solely for others, understanding the distinction between their respective faults and virtues. May I be inspired to be able to exchange myself for others. Cherishing myself is the doorway to all downfalls, while cherishing my mothers is the foundation of everything good, Inspire me to take the core of my practice, the yoga of exchanging myself for others. Therefore, O venerable compassionate gurus, bless me so that all karmic obscurations and offerings, sufferings of mother migrators may ripen upon me right now, and that I may give others my happiness and virtuous deeds, in order that all sentient beings have happiness. Though the world and the beings herein are full of the fruit of evil, and undesired suffering shower upon me like rain, inspire me to see them as a means to exhaust the results of negative karma, and to take these miserable conditions. In short, no matter what appearances may arise, be they good or bad, inspire me to take them into the path of enhancing the two bodhicittas through the practice of the five forces, essence of the entire dharma, and thus enjoy only a might of happiness. Inspire me to immediately conjoin with meditative whatever encounter by the skillful means of having the four applications, and to make this opportunity worthwhile by practicing the advice and commitments of mind training, so that I may rescue all beings from the vast ocean of becoming. Inspire me to master true bodhicitta, and through love, compassion, and the superior intention, conjoined with the technique of mounting, taken, and taking upon my breath. Inspire me to eagerly strive in the practice of the three moralities of the Mahayana, and to bind my mind with the pure bodhisattva vow, the single path journeyed by the victorious ones of the three times. Inspire me to transform my body, wealth, and virtues of the three times into the objects desired by each sentient being, and through the advice of the enhancing detached giving, complete the perfection of generosity. Inspire me to completely perfect moral conduct by working for sentient beings, accumulating virtuous qualities, and not transgressing the bounds of pratimoksha, bodhicitta, or tantric vows, even at the cost of my life. Should all 9 types of beings of the 3 realms become angry at me, abuse, upbraid, threaten, or even kill me, inspire me to complete the perfection of patience and undisturbed work for the benefit of, in response to their harm. Father Avicii, for an ocean of aeons for the sake of each sentient being, inspire me to complete the perfection of joyous effort, and through compassion to strive for supreme enlightenment. By avoiding the faults of dullness, agitation, distraction, with one-pointed concentration set on the mode of existence of all phenomena, emptiness of true existence, inspire me to complete a perfection of concentration. Through the wisdom discriminating suchness, conjoined with induced tranquility and great bliss, inspire me to complete the perfection of wisdom through the space-like yoga absorbed on the ultimate truth. Inspire me to perfect illusion-like concentration by realizing how all outer and inner hindrance like true existence, yet still appear like illusion, dreams, or the moon's reflection in a still lake. Samsara and nirvana have not an atom of true existence, while dependent arising by cause and effects is not deceptive. Inspire me to realize the import of Nagarjuna's thought that these two are not contradictory but complementary. Even through the Vajradhara, inspire me to cross the labyrinthine ocean of Tantra by holding my vows and pledges, the root of cities dearer than my life. Inspire me to cleanse all states of attachment to ordinary appearances, and through the first stage yoga of transforming birth, death, and pardo into the conqueror of 3 bodies, and to see all that appears as the deity, setting your feet, O protector, upon the 8 petals of my heart, within the central channel. Inspire me to actualize a path uniting clear light and the illusory body is this very lifetime. Should I not have completed the points of the path at the time of death, instructions applying the 5 forces, all by the forceful means to enlightenment, the Guru's transference. In short, O protector, inspire me that I may be cared for by you inseparably in my all future lives, and become your chief disciple, holding every secret of your body, speech, and mind. O protector, please grant me the good fortune to be the very first movers of your retinue wherever you manifest Buddhahood, and that all my temporal and ultimate wishes and needs be effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. Having been thus entreated, pray grant this request, O Supreme Gurus, so that you might bless me happily, alight on the crown of my head, and once again set your radiant feet firmly on the coral of my heart lotus. I dedicate the merits thus gathered towards the realization that the aims and the deeds are the Buddhas and the children of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine, the scripture, and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this marriage, never separated from the 4 wheels of the great vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect with the 2 stages. Through the excellence of whatever white virtues they are in samsara nirvana, may all be auspicious for us to be free here and now from all misfortune and hardship, and thus enjoy glorious and perfect celestial treasure of temporal and ultimate virtue and goodness. May all be auspicious for the Buddha's teachings to long endure through your centers of Dharma, omniscient Lord Santaba, being filled with the host of monks and yogis, striving single-pointedly to master the 3 pure trainings. Having requested your blessings, Lord Santaba, you from the time of your youth may request to the Supreme Guru Yedam. May all be auspicious of you, all of Samvajradhara, spontaneous to grant the wishes of others. May all be auspicious for all our desired endowments to swell like a lake in the summer rains, bring an unbroken flow of rivers of leisure, so that we may pass the days and nights with your holy Dharma, O Lord Sam, and thus delight in the glories of perfection. By the collection of the whatever virtues, deeds, and others and I've done, and shall do now from until enlightenment, may all be auspicious, O Holy Venerable One, for your body of form to remain in this land immutable like a Vajra. Okay, we will end with a Dashkan prayer. Okay. Let's turn to page 278. Page 278. Now this is the dedication. Let us pray that the teaching on bodhicitta and the teaching on wisdom and emptiness flourish in the minds of all dear sentient beings, including our dear friend Mithunji and the late Sirina. So the darkness of the self-grasping and self-centered attitude and all the mental stains are cleansed, and they become such a light of the bodhicitta wisdom and emptiness for all dear sentient beings. Let us also pray that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And let us pray that all these greatly the enlightened Dharma centers, the learning centers of the Buddha Dharma, like the Sera Debung Gandhin, and then the Yude Yumen, and then all the monastics, say the Namdruling, Mindruling, then the Songsan Sheta, then the Songsan Library, all the learning centers of Sakya, Kaikyu, Nyingma, Gelu, all these learning centers proliferate in the learning, and the learning becomes so very undefiled and very fruitful, and eventually manifesting in the form of the Dharma practice. And let us all pray that our dear friend late Mithun La and late Sering La, they take a good rebirth to meet with the Dharma, to meet with the teaching of the bodhicitta, teaching of wisdom and emptiness, and eventually, as intended by them, both of them, we all know so well that eventually they want to become someone to disseminate these brilliant teachings to all the sentient beings. Let us pray that what they had in their mind will be accomplished soon through their next birth. So with that, let us pray that finally the teaching of the bodhicitta and teaching of wisdom and emptiness, these two count. So may these two proliferate in the minds of all dear sentient beings, present and future. Okay, let's continue reading the verses from 278. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Jainas, the Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by the victorious ones thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the supreme bodhicitta that is not arisen arise and grow, and may that which is arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. To do the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merits thus gathered towards the realization, the teaching, and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the Dharma of the teaching and realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the mind and vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, the enunciation, bodhicitta, perfect with the 2 stages. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate my full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. A path of union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the protector of both the Dharma and the beings of the snowland. You are the lotus or the Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces, humans or non-humans, who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas, be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the 3 jewels. In all my lives, never separate from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stations and the paths, may quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Majushree and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Okay, we will quickly seal the virtue that we engaged in by meditating on emptiness very quickly. Okay, emptiness which we meditated earlier, the emptiness of the self. Okay. What are you doing? I'm dedicating the virtues now, sealing the virtues. By sealing it, all the virtues will be maintained intact, not getting destroyed by any other negative forces. To seal the virtues is done by the wisdom of emptiness. What are you doing? I'm dedicating and sealing the virtues. So what is this I like? Like a dream, or so objectively dear, so real? Of course, so real. That is not self-grasping ignorance. How can we know it's not true? Remember what Aranyagarbhuna said? If the mirage were to be water, one knows those close by the mirage see water. Now let us see if this self actually exists so objectively dear. By going closer to this object, let us see if it exists. By going closer to this object, we see that in the earth, water, fire, air, space and consciousness, besides these 6 elements, nothing's really there as a self. None of these 6 elements as a self, not different from the 6 elements as a self. Where's the self now? It disappears, it is empty. Stay there for a while. Okay, come out of the meditation, again the self comes back. Going back to meditation, the self becomes empty. Again coming out, the self comes back. There's a constant change happening there. This change for sure is not happening on the object. On the object we are not altering it, it's just the same object. If the change is happening, this is happening on the perception level. Perception is purely subjective. Subjective means it's all coming from the subjective mind. So whatever is involved with this change is coming from your mind. So this self is a part of this change. It comes, goes, comes, goes. So therefore it is purely from the mind. If it is coming from the mind, it becomes like a dream. Just a dream comes from the mind. Even this self is also coming from the mind. So it comes from the mind means this self is like a dream. It does exist, but it exists like a dream. Okay, slowly come out of this meditation. Come out. Okay, good night all of you. Good night. And thank you very much, Kabirji. Kabirji, take this book. This book is for you. Yeah? No, for you. Tushita, I'll give more.